Okay, yeah, the beginning was a little off, and I guess I'm not ready to show my face quite yet. This is the beginning for me, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm gonna get through it, just like anything else. Now, you can call me SD Ray. I think that's the name I'm gonna go with as far as like my career goes. But welcome to episode 1 of my podcast, where not much will be scripted, but this part is. You gotta start somewhere, no matter how messy life is. This podcast may be messy, but it's the beginning. Now, the voice you're about to hear is mine, and he tries to convince you that this podcast is titled many different things. I've decided on one. This is trial by ear. And it's a rough start, like anything else in life. Thoughts and ideas can breathe. We make them come to life. You gotta start with tools that you have inside your brain and outside of it. It'll get you where you want to be, where you need to be. And I want to show you how to use your darkness to fix the light. And I'm gonna hit play. Okay. Exactly, okay. Now I'm gonna hit play. Okay, I am starting this podcast, and the decision to get it done, I pulled through. I'm a huge procrastinator, and I guess I'm a procrastinator in introducing myself. My name's Steve Ray. I am starting this podcast to not only help myself, but to help others. This podcast is called Try All in Air. Be warned, I'm a beginner at this. This is an amateur's tale in my adventures in understanding myself. So please excuse the stopping and starting of the recording, but there is stuff in this. I guess people are calling it content. I call it, philosophy of my own mind. And I want to help people develop their own and be themselves. Again, you're probably going to hear recordings after this where I'm trying to introduce myself. This is my best introduction so far, so I hope you enjoy the show. It's a little cluttery at the moment, but I guarantee it, this is the first step to many steps that's going to get me to everything that I need, everything that this world needs. Not saying that the world revolves around me, because that really sounded like that did, but, I'm one person out of 7 billion. We're on a rock that's floating around in space. We need to be more grateful with our lives, and we owe something to the world, each of us. Hope you enjoy the show. All right, bye. Or stay. But here we go. Okay, so this is the beginning of my podcast, and I'm not sure how to start it, and this is how I'm going to start it. I've had recorded throughout the day, on breaks during work, many things, very random thoughts, but always leading back to some philosophy that I've been learning. What I'm calling this podcast is Try All in Air. Try All in Air. Basically, I couldn't do trial and error because there are a couple things called that, specifically a podcast. So I decided to mess with the words a little bit. Try all in air. Basically saying, I guess it can represent, rather than trying something on the ground and you keep failing on the ground, you might want to try it up in the air. Now we got airplanes in the air, and that's what that was for the Wright brothers. I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, you're probably leaving the podcast. If I'm right, maybe you're Googling it. I don't know. But that's what I'm going to go with for now. This podcast, once it's posted, who knows what the title is going to be, but that's where I'm headed so far. Disregard my sometimes it helps me throw a in there, kind of like a break in the measure. Talking is timing, timing is music, and that's basically me. I'm going to cut in and out, and you're going to hear a lot of random, but I assure you, through what I'm saying, there is meaning behind it, and I don't mind explaining. And if it doesn't have meaning behind it, within it you can find a meaning. From what I learned, there are several base points that I do go over. At the end, I believe you will hear me bring up criticism. Fear of criticism is a huge thing that many people have, and it's proof. I mean, I feel like I'm living proof. It's in writings that I've been absorbing. Fear of criticism is a fear that too many people worry about. I'm sitting in my car right now. All the recordings you'll hear are in the car, but I just left Walmart. I was sitting there in line, and as this lady was taking all my food, or you know what I mean, scanning it at the cash register, she was just being herself. She was just doing her day, and I was thinking, I'm like, man, I probably look like a piece of shit buying all this stuff. Yeah, my health's bad. I did. I slammed a orange soda, and I got a other bunch of shit and just random, movie dinner boxes, whatever the fuck they're called. But this is something that I've been trying to defeat, and I've been able to defeat it, but my old habits do strike back, and it was good that I checked myself. Now, if I didn't start this podcast earlier today, I probably wouldn't have checked myself and thought about making this part of the podcast, but now I am. Judgment is something that is a state of mind, I believe. When I looked at people, my 29 years of life, I was always worried about people judging me and assuming that they were judging me, and my assumptions were for no reason, really. If all you do is think about what other people are thinking about you, or what they're thinking of you, or what they're saying about you, even if they are saying anything about you, at the end of the day, it's not them who are judging you. You're only judging yourself. That is one thing I continuously tell myself, because I do have to beat it into my subconscious mind. Because the last 29 years, I beat into my mind that everybody was judging me. Now, when people really, do come at you and you're feeling judged, they are criticizing you. It may be bad, their tone may be bad as far as everything goes. I mean, they might be a bully, they may not be. No matter what, at the end of the day, all criticism is good, whether it's bad or good. Well, whether it's bad or good. Just know that if somebody's speaking, they're another human like you. There is something backed by what they're saying. They have some sort of desire in saying it. Take what they say. Try to adapt to what they said. If you don't want to use what they said, don't. I mean, but there's meaning in what they're saying. Just like when I'm coming up with some random shit, there is meaning. You can find meaning in everything. I can look at a pole and find meaning in it. It's a means to weigh. It's a means. Yeah. Sometimes I hit walls and I don't know how to talk. But anywho, I had a stupid ass joke about a pole, and it was about a stripper. I mean, strippers, poles, they make money off poles. Okay, so there's a little speed bump in the podcast there.
But you gotta, find it in you to stop doubting yourself. When I say that I can't talk right or that I can't do something right, I bring that into an existence. Me saying that is a form of habit.
And I like this. But I'm not going to cut that part out. I do apologize. This is Try All in Air. Hope you enjoy the show. Okay, basically what I'm saying is random has meaning. Like a pole to a stripper. Strippers see money in it. And that's a horrible joke. But you will hear horrible jokes. You'll hear funny jokes. I'm in deep love with dark humor because I believe laughter is medicine, like many people before me have said. Laugh at the things that you fear. Laugh at the things that build up hate in people. We're all here to live. To live, you gotta laugh. I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
Sorry.
About 3 weeks ago, I made a decision that I had to start a podcast today. And this podcast, I'm calling it Trial and Error. Because that's what life consists of, is trial and error. So, the quality of the podcast, I can't tell you it's going to be the greatest. I can tell you that I'm going to try my best. Because I believe that voices need to be heard by everybody. Our world is a huge mastermind. We are all connected, and I'm trying to get some rights so I can actually convey messages that I've learned from a certain book to people. I don't know the legalities or if I'm able to just quote it and tell you what book it's from and everything, be cool with it without getting in trouble, because I plan to take everything that I have and turn it into something bigger than myself. As Jim Carrey said, there's nothing bigger than yourself, and he doesn't even know if that's true, but I believe in just getting yourself out there and doing it. This is me getting out there and doing it. I can't tell you if it's all going to be in timing, but within time, through trial and error, you will receive what you ask the world for.
Does Jim Carrey spell his last name with one R or two? And if there's anything that anybody out there can assist me with as far as, certain rights to things, or if they got info on like what is right to use without having permission from a publisher or an author, I wouldn't mind knowing. And I'm sure I'm going to ask here soon, but every once in a while I'm going to stop the recording of me and put my input, kind of like a reaction video.
And the beginning of this podcast sounds very cliche and sounds very, I guess it's not scripted because I'm sitting here stuttering trying to figure out what to say. So I will be hitting stop and a lot, and it's going to sound like a blotchy podcast at first. Is this one going to air? I don't know. But one thing that I do know is that this podcast, I don't know, I'm sure all the other podcasts aren't, but I won't be scripting this podcast. Because going through life scripted is horrible. As the individual of myself, I went through life scripting myself like everybody else, trying to, appear differently than what I was, holding myself back, refraining from being who I am. And that's what I want to convey to the world, is that you can be yourself. yes, all the other podcasts are saying that. And yes, I guess I shouldn't have to say that to let people understand, because I just need to be myself and not say that kind of thing. But the world deserves everybody to be themselves. Going through life scripted is not life. You end up putting yourself into a cage. Through this story, or this book that I've been reading, I've learned to take opportunity as it is given. Today, this podcast is my opportunity to start everything that I'm planning. If I didn't start today, who knows where it would go, but it may not go anywhere. That's why I had to start today. So I hope there's critics out there. I hope people listen to this and don't like it. I hope people do and understand that there's always a starting point. You have to start somewhere. No matter the struggle, you have to keep pushing. Persistence. And my enthusiasm isn't that heightened right now, but it is. It really is. And as I'm talking, my enthusiasm is getting better, so it's okay. But I did set up a recording this morning, and I had a bunch of stuff recorded, so I'm trying to retrack through it. But as I said, that's almost kind of going along the line of scripting. You need to go through life and just go with the shit. I mean, things are going to come naturally. When you feed yourself a desire that you truly believe in, stuff happens. Stuff attracts to you. Your mind will go the right way. You'll talk about the right things. As I'm sitting here talking to you, I believe I'm saying the right things.
So this here is kind of something random I've started. Sorry to interrupt you, Steve. So what's funny is that 5 would have been this gondola. For some reason, I don't remember writing this. I can look it up. My dictionary's not by me. I'm just gonna go with coconut. And if you're confused, that's okay.
This is trial and error, because life is about fuck-ups and how you take those fuck-ups. You have to utilize the fuck-ups. My brain goes millions of miles per hour sometimes, so I'm stopping and resuming this recording, because when I hit pause, I'm able to kind of put my mind on a break and convey to you truthfully how my brain works. It's just sometimes when I'm sitting here talking, I end up talking too fast like I am now. Maybe you understand me, maybe not, I don't know. But this is a podcast that I want to be random. But at the same time, something that aligns. I want to align with people, because I had so much time spent on trying to align with myself. Once I've been able to align with myself, I see that other people want to align with themselves. The only way to help people align themselves is aligning with them. So I work at a call center right now, and this is where I can tell that life shouldn't be scripted. Just like work. I mean, I have a script, but you can't go through your call scripted. Or if it's all scripted, no one's going to want to buy from you. I want to take that lesson to show you that life doesn't need to be scripted through all my podcasts and all the work that I plan to put into the world. When you take those calls and you're using the script, you have to use the script to guide you. The book that I'm reading is not a script, it's a guide. When you implant that in your head, just like the script that someone can read at a call center, it's something that you're conveying to them. I don't know where I was going with that. That's going to happen a lot. That's trial and error itself. And if you're listening to this and it bothers you that I'm kind of everywhere, that's okay. You'll either come around or just never listen again, but it's okay. this is me. And I realize me being me is the best thing that I can be. Because that's one thing everybody's good at, is just being themselves. We're all professionals, in a sense. When you're reading a script from somebody else, that was them putting that out there. That was them being themselves. So if you read it to their words, it's not going to be conveyed that way. It's not going to be true necessarily to whoever's picking that up in their brain. You have to take a script and use that script to your life, like we do calls. And you gotta speak from the heart. You gotta put passion in it. You gotta put emotion and feeling in it. And the reason I mentioned that this podcast will be based on random as well. I said something about random. I can't tell you what words I actually used, but random is life. When we use random to our advantage, we figure stuff out. You know, when we're having trouble figuring something out and something random is thrown at us, that's where epiphanies come from. Through these podcasts, I want to convey who I am as a person to allow you guys to accept the people that you are. I want to help people with their mental misunderstandings. I want to share philosophies of mine, philosophies from my friends. I will have guests. And it's going to start with me first. But one day at a time, brick by brick, you will understand yourself. And when you understand yourself and find ways to understanding yourself through the perceptions that we help you with, you'll begin to understand everything so much more. Whether this be through one podcast or several podcasts, it will accumulate and become something bigger than this. I have faith in that. And I will help you find that faith in yourself. Because honestly, the best faith you can have is in yourself. And, you know, this podcast, there will be religion talk, but we're not here to trash religion. If you are a religious person, I respect your faith. There's a faith that I have, and it's faith in myself. I believe in, if you don't have faith in yourself, of course, have faith in something. If you have faith in God, thank God, have faith in something. If you don't have faith in God, at least have faith in yourself. And I had no faith in God, and I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but if it does, it does. But you have to have faith in yourself. And I probably have people turning this off because I keep saying have faith in yourself. But it's a message that you have to keep hearing. Now, to piggyback off what I was saying, so to piggyback a little bit off of what I was saying, I was talking about having faith in yourself. You have to realize that there's 7 billion people in the world. Maybe less, maybe more. But you are one individual amongst those 7 billion individuals. In order to get what you want in life, you have to be yourself. In order to be yourself, you have to find ways to develop faith in oneself. Sounds like a quote. Is it a quote? It can be now, or maybe there's a quote before this. But whoever said it first, I'm an individual saying it because it is truth. From one individual to 7 billion, be yourself. Seek happiness through yourself by having faith in it. And that's what I was saying, to piggyback off of what I was saying before, life isn't a script. I went through life scripting myself as if I were everybody else. What is this person thinking of me? What is that person thinking of me? And I end up thinking about what I'm thinking of me because I'm thinking of what they're thinking about me. It's an endless cycle, and it's not necessary because all you're gonna be is yourself. And if that hurts, then there's some work to do, and I want you to keep listening to this. Listen to other things that can help you. You know, it's all about self-development. And I'm recording right now, and if you can hear the anxiety that's kind of built up right now, I'm just running late. I'm on my way to work right now, and today was the first day of my podcast, and I guess that really trumps anything but my daughter. You know, my daughter is one of the reasons I'm doing this. Myself is one of the reasons I'm doing this, and work right now is what this will be. So I'm late to work, but oh well. Better late than never. As long as you keep persisting, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much you fall, you keep persisting through your faith and cling on to the things that you desire by continually helping yourself reach your desirables. By having faith in that desire, you'll get it. That's something I've conveyed through this book that I'm trying to get some sort of rights to. Not that I want ownership of the book, but like as I'm talking to people, I want to make sure that I can say whatever I want to say without, government or a certain book to come after me. I mean, not that I want anybody to come after me. Not that I'm saying this book, the foundation of it, will come after me. But obviously, so that I get it off my chest, I at least need to contact the lawyer that I've gotten information to, so that I can actually get this going, or feel I'm already getting it going. But to feel better about it, it's better safe than sorry. But I mean, if something happens where I say something, I'll ask for permission. If that doesn't work out, then oh well. Trial and error. This is Steve Ray with Trial and Error. I'll see you soon. Hear you soon. Okay, so did some looking, and Trial and Error cannot be the name of my podcast because there's another podcast that's called Trial and Error. My thing is even if it was okay to name my stuff Trial and Error, I don't want to use it. I'm not trying to say that you can't, be inspired by other people, but I think using your own originality and trying to come up with your own originality is something that the world needs to inspire others' originality. So Trial and Error won't be what the title of my podcast is, but this is about trial and error. There's other names. Somebody already took Amateur's Tale, and there's information I'm going to put out there that sounds like, well, you're giving ideas out to the world and you're not using these ideas to help yourself. I could have used those if I wanted to, but it seems like somebody already used them. But still, with my originality that I want to instill in people in the way I am and who I am, if it inspires you to take what I'm saying to make it something.
I do apologize. I do tend to mumble. Through life, we will stumble. As long as you keep getting back up. Don't let the people who are bothered by your mumbling, your stumbling, your stuttering, don't let them get to you.
Do it, man. It's almost an open domain in a way, I guess, when it comes down to certain things. Now, I mean, I don't want you to copy me or anything. Copy anything that I end up doing. You may. If you're not being original, I'll come after you as far as, making sure I have my name on it instead of you if you're not being original in yourself. Being not yourself penalizes the world around us. Or the world that we're on. good way to give yourself perspective that we are on just a rock floating out there in the middle of what seems to be complete darkness. It's not. There's so much light out there. There's so much shit that we're floating against or around or amongst space, the universe. And just as much energy and good energy is out there, there's that much bad energy out there in the universe, just like our brains. It sounds like a weird segue, but I don't care, trial and error on everything. But anyway, your brain is very similar to the universe. You have a lot of darkness inside you. And, we're pretty much prone to use that darkness, what our brains will cling to. We're by society, by news and everything around us, we're told to go towards that darkness when we ache for the light. When we have too much darkness, we seem to get dragged down into a hole. But just know that the dark that we have inside us, there's an equivalent light inside as well. If you think you're bad, if you think your life is bad right now, it is because you're thinking that, if that makes sense. People before me have said it, but if you end up listening to this and you like it, you need to hear it from me, it sounds like. Because you haven't heard it enough, maybe. But I do advise you to not only listen to me. This is where my overthinking brain just tends to go into circles, and I keep talking until I find myself talking to air. And in this sense, I am talking to air until people start listening. So I'm going to continue, even if somebody's not listening. This is the first podcast. Part of the first podcast. If all I'm doing is putting this energy out into the world without no one listening, that's fine. My energy, just like anybody else's energy, belongs into the world. Unless you are a dickbag and you're putting your wrong energy into the world, trying to, take advantage of people, being manipulative. The energy from persuasion will conquer the energy from manipulation through time. Our brains cling to manipulation easier than it does persuasion. And I got trial and error. I had it pause, and now I'm talking again. Like I said, you're going to be getting that a lot. This is more of a thing to allow other people to help me if they want to help me. If they can understand my message that I want to put out there, please help me. As I go through it, I want to share with people what I'm doing and the moves I'm doing to see what routes I need to take. If you tell me, cool. If you don't, cool. This is not only for me, it's for other people, but along the way, if you feel like you can advise me in a direction, or I'm here to hear you out, whether you hate me or like me. But this podcast and everything else that I want to do is basically just going at it. I plan to tell you my steps, like as in the title. I can't call it trial and error. You already know why. But maybe I can, try all and error. That's already something I already try to mess the words up and look into something like that. I might end up using try and error, because if you're going to try it on the ground, maybe you'll find something different by trying it in the air. Mile High Club, I guess, that was probably their motto, but maybe I'll try in air. What sucks is, that laugh, like, it made it a little funny inside my head. I put it out there to be funny, but sometimes it's weird how we have to laugh after saying something to let other people know that it was supposed to be funny. And sometimes, even when it doesn't strike your funny bone, when the tone may have been wrong and you throw that laugh out there, people end up laughing. It's kind of like a rule stand-up probably. But doing that stuff does help. I mean, when you are sincerely just talking with people, you gotta do stuff like that. And it's not being fake. It's just letting the other person know that you're being kind-hearted. And can you fake laugh when you try to persuade people? Can you fake laugh when you're trying to manipulate people? Of course you can. So you gotta, not that you should be judging people, which is a big topic that I'll be talking about a lot. But I mean, when it comes down to people persuading and manipulating, there's very many sources or very many things that fall on the same line as that. Basically saying the qualities of a persuader and a manipulator are much the same. It's the outcome of the things that you're doing. That's what makes you a persuader or a manipulator. Don't be a manipulator. Okay, I want to go back to fake laughing. Fake laughing, I'm not talking about doing that little fake ass chuckle. I'm talking about when you throw a laugh out there, you're gonna, attract other people. When you need to have that, when you need to use that fake laugh to kind of get the point across to what you're saying, that energy that you're putting into what you're saying has to be put into that laugh. So you gotta, you're the one that has that energy inside you, that feeling and emotion in what you're saying inside of you. So you can put that into the laugh that you felt. And, going through the podcast, going through the recordings that I had before this, I was kind of bland. I want to make sure that I'm putting into my words that I'm conveying to you through the air that it does mean something, because if I sit here and tell you this all in a bland way, it's not going to come across that well to you. Although I do speak very neutral tone often, but knowing that talking like this will grab your attention a lot more, I'm going to try to continue to do that myself. I'm going to try to continue to do that for you guys and myself. Because when you talk, for people to grasp what you're saying, you have to put feeling and emotion into it. If you don't put feeling and emotion into it, it's not gonna work out so well. Because we're made of energy and matter. Now, these connections that I'm making has something to do with the book that I've been reading. This book has led me to knowing so much about myself, and it's allowing me to be able to talk to people. I just got to make sure that I do contact who I need to contact today, in order to make sure that I'm not going against the rules of being inspired by somebody, because I'm trying to be it.
And honestly, I mean, saying the book and the title and who the author is, I don't think it's against the rules. It just kind of, he deserves to have respect paid to him. Napoleon Hill, he wrote a book in 1937 and many others around certain dates. I believe he passed in 1970. But there's a book called Think and Grow Rich. I've read it 4 times now, and it has opened up so much. Has opened so much to me. As unknown as the universe is just as unknown as our minds are. Our mind is a universe in itself. And if you truly want to find out, without me trying to give you guys perception and want to find out on your own, you got to read Think and Grow Rich. Mankind deserves it.
You know, trying to be original with my approach to what I want to teach the world, as this book has taught me. But I don't want to copy what he did. And maybe I will never tell you who it is, even when I do get rights.
Were you not listening? I just did, man.
At the same time, I believe that everybody should read the book. And in this time of age, or however the phrase goes, people aren't reading this book. And if no one's going to be reading that book, I don't mind being the source that projects it to the world. Now, each little recording I'm doing here, I'm thinking about putting it down, you know, having the recording go as I'm recording myself listening to it, just kind of like you see on YouTube, you know, people having reactions of videos and stuff. But when they're having reactions to these videos, they pause it and they talk about it. So everything that I'm conveying right now, I have so many different pathways in my head that scatter like a spider web, and I can't say everything at once. As I'm hearing myself talk, I want to say so much more than what I'm saying. So I think what I may do is sit these recordings down, listen to them, have them being recorded while I do so, and basically have my reaction, but it'd be more of a reply to myself or an add-on. I'd be the special guest to my podcast, so I'd be talking to myself and I'd be able to spin off of what I'm saying to describe a little bit further, because perception is reality, and if I can give people the perception, I'm okay with that. And I don't mind making the world a better place. Yes, through all of this, everything that I'm going to do, I do plan to earn money eventually, whether it's tomorrow or on the 12th of December next year. But I'm going to earn my money by helping people. And I suggest you do the same, because I mean, if we help people, it will make this world a better place. And it's going to be shown as dark as possible. It's going to be shown that the world is falling apart, but let's be honest, the more we perceive it as so, that's what makes it happen. We have to look for peace to make the peace. So for now, I believe that I may put a cap on this podcast for today. I'm leaning on calling it Try All in Air. Play on words for trial and error. Try all in air is not taken, but it means so many different things, and I can probably sit here and talk about all the many things that it can probably mean, but I think I have several podcasts that I can do that with. Have a good day, me. If I'm the only person that's talking to me right now, have a good day, everybody. This was Try All in Air. And I guess this is where I put music in, and I haven't figured that out yet. After this, I may be able to. It's one step at a time, like everything. You know, you got to start somewhere, and then you got to take one step at a time, and that's what this is. Have a good day. Okay. So I mean, leaving the podcast like that just felt weird, and I guess it wasn't really authentic. I was pretty much sounding like what other podcasters sound like, I guess. How else do you exit out of a podcast? I guess you got to be professional some way. You got to do what other people are doing some days. You know, I'm not trying to knock anybody as far as what they're doing and being like other people. That would be a form of judgment, I guess. I am an overthinker, so I tend to talk in circles and I come back. So I may have to, I don't know, I'm not going to edit that part out. You know, because when you fuck up in life, you're going to remember your fuck ups. And the fuck ups that you remember rather than dwelling on those fuck ups. You have to focus on a solution and keep going through that. You have to keep going through the things and have fuck ups to look back upon. And I think that's where this is where this podcast has started, where I talked about fuck ups. Do I know the exact words again? No, I don't. I didn't script it. I didn't write it down. It is in my memory on my digital copier, my audio copier. And I've ended this podcast really shitty now. So I'm going to get off here. But please comment whatever all those other people say when they make podcasts. Give me some criticism. That is one of my biggest weaknesses, is criticism, and I'll explain more on that too. But I need criticism so that I can look at it and develop off of it, because that's what I've done with myself, and that's where success leads. Have a good day.